Good morning, good evening, everyone around the world. Hello, my name is Felipe. I am here with Charter Live, our live show that goes on in our social media platforms at 11 a.m. Pacific time every Thursday. We are currently live on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And later on, we'll probably post something on our Instagram account as well so that you can have access to the information that we have for you this week so that you can participate in the compassion movement in any possible way if you so desire. Today is a really nice special day because we have our special guest for the day is Babalwa Ngcongolo from South Africa, Cape Town, South Africa. And let me just bring her in here because she will be talking to us about the Ubuntu Festival that is happening next week. Hi, Babs. How are you?
Hi, Felipe. I'm so excited to join you today.
Thank you so much for taking the time to joining us. It's 8 p.m. in South Africa right now.
Yes, it is close to my bedtime.
Well, it is 12 p.m. where I am in Salt Lake City, Utah. But I wanted to bring you into this show. Thank you so much for coming again. And I wanted to bring you to the show because I wanted our viewers and the people that will be watching this later on about the Ubuntu Festival, that Part of Compassion is being a sponsor for it. And this festival is happening in Cape Town next week.
Mhm. Yes, it's happening next week on the 20th, and it's a 4-day festival. It takes place from the 21st to the 24th. It's actually launching on a very special day in South Africa. The 21st of March is Human Rights Day. And it's just that day in particular is a commemoration of what it means to really live the ideals of human rights and to, hold on to them. And so it's wonderful that we're able to launch the festival on that day and have a program over the following 3 days as well, celebrating Ubuntu and using it as a way to really focus on how we can connect as communities.
That's amazing. And so again, let me there is a website that I wanted to show to people. Let me just share the screen here. That is not the website. Here it is. Ubuntu Festival. So let me just put this on the comment section. And for other, on Facebook, it'll show up right now. But for other platforms like LinkedIn or Twitter, we'll be adding the links to our comments as soon as we're done with this live show. So, Babs, tell us a little bit about what is going to happen for these 4 days that the Ubuntu Festival is happening.
Well, I mean, I'd like to start with where, the inspiration of this entire festival
Please
came.
tell us more about it.
So, I mean, the Winter Festival was really inspired by the film that the Charter has commissioned along with our friends Pato Banton and Antoinette Root's daughter. And it's a film called The Spirit of Ubuntu. And it's a collection of these amazing 10 stories of Ubuntu, of compassion across the African continent. And so once I saw this film at the Parliament of the World's Religions last year, I was really inspired about what it means to have a conversation about Ubuntu, and particularly to have that conversation at, the home of Ubuntu, the birthplace of Ubuntu, which is in Southern Africa. Ubuntu is a Zulu isiXhosa term that speaks to this idea that we are because I am sorry because we are, and it's this idea that our humanity is only recognized through the way that we treat each other, through the way that we care for each other, and not just each other as people, but also, the land, also all and every single creature that has been created. And so it really inspired me to hold space and have a conversation about what it means to live Ubuntu in our modern age, in this modern day and time. And to me, it was also quite interesting because Ubuntu is a concept that really was popularized at the dawn of South Africa's democracy. And it was popularized because it was a way for us to rally around the idea of rehumanizing each other after coming from, centuries of colonialism and then 50 years of apartheid. And so, what it really did was galvanize this idea and galvanize us around this idea of creating community beyond difference, beyond separation, rehumanizing each other after a system had dehumanized each other for so long. And so, 30 years on, after, of course, because this is the 30th year of our democracy in South Africa, I think it's just such a compelling conversation to have, particularly where we find ourselves in the world right now, with so much division, with war, with conflict, with people really struggling to recognize the humanity of others, and what that does to us, what that does to our ability to trust each other, to care for each other, to be in community with each other, particularly when we don't agree. And so I think that it's important for us to have that conversation. And I'm excited that the Ubuntu Festival is a platform for us to do that through various workshops, through creative spaces, through, the offerings by some experts, heritage experts. And so we have such a beautiful, dynamic program, but it really helps us center around the idea of what is Ubuntu and how do we practice it? How do we reclaim it? How do we reinvigorate it, particularly at this time in our society?
What a beautiful concept. I mean, reality, if we were to apply this to how, the charter in a sense was born, with the golden rule, treat others as you want to be treated. The sense of understanding that it's not so much like a karma situation where it's just like, whatever you give you're gonna get. It's more about realizing that there's such an interconnectivity between everything and everyone.
Absolutely.
And it's not
Absolutely.
just life. You're talking, you mentioned that, it's the earth, it's rocks, it's water, it's air,
Mhm,
it's the
mhm,
environment. So it's
mhm,
taking everything into consideration, realizing the interconnectivity of it all. What a beautiful concept, and how amazing and how awesome it is that the birthplace of this concept, the Southern
mhm,
Africa area, is the one doing this festival, teaching the
mhm,
world what this is about. And so,
mhm,
first of all, thank you, thank you, thank you, because this is knowledge that everybody needs to have, and I hope that with the network of the Charter for Compassion, we'll be able to reach lots and lots of people to spread this principle and concept and live it, just like we try to live by the golden rule. And
mhm.
so, Bob, why don't you tell us a little about the website and the ways that people can participate? Because yes, this is going to be an in-person festival in Cape Town, South Africa, which, oh my gosh, I wish I could be there. But for the more basic humans like myself and others that cannot make it to Cape Town, are there ways that people can join online to watch this?
Absolutely. So the program is in person, as you've said, and most of our programming will unfortunately not be available to a wider audience that possibly is not going to be able to be there in person. But we do have an online convening, and details of that will be, of course, on our website. But we will also be live streaming our main events. In particular, we have a beautiful panel discussion, which is going to take place on the 23rd of March around the exhibition of the Nelson Mandela Foundation. And as we all know, Nelson Mandela is a really wonderful historical figure. He was the first democratically elected president of South Africa. And the exhibition itself explores this idea of Mandela is dead, actually. That's the title of the exhibition. And it really explores what it means for us to take agency, right? Not to rely on our icons as much as we celebrate them and really revel in the work that they've done. I think the question that we want to have and the conversation we want to have is, how do we take our agency? How do we live in the legacies that they've given us, but make it our own legacy as well? And so Mandela is Dead is the exhibition that takes place on the 23rd of March. And we're going to have a panel of wonderful thought leaders, of artists, of the curator of the exhibition itself. That will be live streamed, and the conversation, we'll have a wonderful conversation, just unpacking what it means to live Ubuntu as engaged agency. So that will be live streamed and available for those who are excited to join in. It will be live streamed on Facebook and on Instagram. And then on Sunday, the 24th of March, our main event is a closing keynote conversation. And really, it's actually an experience. It's such a beautiful program that takes us into the space of healing, and looks at Indigenous healing, but also draws and collects everything that we've learned, and that we will be learning over the 4 days of the festival, and puts it into close focus. And so that closing conversation is really one that's going to connect us to Indigenous healing practices, but also ways that we can live the example of Ubuntu as we've learned and as we've engaged with it over the festival.
That's amazing. So this, once again, my dear friends, is happening next week, beginning on Thursday, March 21st, until Sunday, March 24th. Babs, thank you so much for joining us, for taking the time to explain to us not only what the term Ubuntu is, where does it come from, and what are we going to be doing to not only remember and embrace that concept, but to create our own sense of providing more to Ubuntu. Is there
Absolutely.
anything else that you'd like to share with us before you leave us?
Yeah, I think I would just encourage people to check out the website and to really engage with the content that we have on our social media. And I'm excited to see people join us, even if you're not in person. Join us for those live streams. Join us on our online for our online convening, and really not just embrace the festival, but also embrace the spirit of Ubuntu, because this is part of a bigger movement towards really centering ourselves in the idea of our humanity, of our humanness and connection through that. So that is, I guess, the final thing that I want to say. And I'm so grateful that I had this time. Thank you so much, Felipe.
Thank you so much, Babs, for joining us. And once again, everyone, I will be putting all the links in the chat. Bye, Babs.
All right, bye. Thank you.
That's amazing. And that's happening next week, March 21st to the 24th. So let's go ahead and share my screen once again so I can tell you everything else that is happening with the charter for next week and the upcoming month, because honestly, we got plenty. So that's a Ubuntu Festival Instagram account as well. If you go on Instagram and search at Ubuntu Festival _2024, they are trying to build their following there, and all the information and links are available for you to attend that festival if you're in that area, and if not, watch the live sessions that will be available on Instagram Live and Facebook Live during their time. So we go to charterforcompassion.org, go to the news and events and event calendar. I find myself a couple events that are happening this next week as well. Not this next week, the Ubuntu Festival, but the following week. Well, every Wednesday we are having Marilyn act as a DJ, showing this webinar, The Magical Ability of Music to Inspire Action. This has been a hit. Lots of people have been watching it and enjoying it, and feel how music really is inspiring them to take some action. This past week, if I'm not mistaken, music was about home. And this next one, I think, is going to be a theme about joy. So that should be pretty exciting for everyone to watch and join. So let me just put that in the comments. So that is going on right there. Next on our list is Allies in Action. This is what community chest used to be. So this is an opportunity for anyone, either a partner of the charter, someone that belongs to the charter, has signed the charter, you're a business, an organization, institution, you're part of a compassionate city or community, or you are a community leader and it's trying to see how the Charter for Compassion can help your community become a more compassionate community. We are offering a chat Wednesday, March 27th at 9 a.m. Pacific. That is 5 p.m. UK, 6 Central, Eastern European, and then if that is, let's see, 9, it will be 9:30 p.m. in India. So if you're interested, you are welcome to join us in this conversation. I'm going to be posting the link right now for the Allies conversation. Allies. There you go. And we'll post it right here on the chat. There you go. Next, we have Peace on Earth 2030. So I don't know if any of you know about this. David Gershon is the guy that was behind when the torch went around the world back in the 80s. And he kind of had this idea of collective peace, everyone focusing on this idea. He is now bringing this peace game. I have just finished the peace game from this cohort, and it was a really good experience. I feel like there is a power to understanding more of the power that we hold to create more peace. And so the more people know about it, the better. So this is the link for Peace on Earth 2030. The next cohort starts in May 15th, if I'm not mistaken. But there will be some information meetings prior to that so that you can learn more about this and see if you're able to commit to it and do it. So yeah, May 15th through July 10th will be the next peace game. I recommend it. I think it was great between the meditations, the things that you learn, and the actions that makes you do. Do go on and pass along. So, like I said, butterfly effect, if you want to call it that way. So, I would definitely recommend it. So, with that, I'm gonna add the link to the chat as well. And so, the next meeting will be on March 27th at 12 p.m. Eastern time. On Saturday, the last Saturday of the month, as you know, we have our charter Sangha, the Circle Trust. This is a time where we provide for an hour and a half for people to do meditations, have a moments of silence, a sharing group, and have a moment to discuss things of whatever comes into the conversation. Um, this is directed now by Meredith McCarthy and let me see who is here and Andy Sprague from the Sangha House UK. So this is every Saturday, every last Saturday of the month at 9 a.m. Pacific time. So this case will be Saturday, March 30th. Next but not least, we have two global reads that are going to be happening next April, which is super exciting. One of them is the Everyday Ubuntu with Munji Ngomane. She is the granddaughter of Archbishop Desmond Tutu. So this is going to be a really fun and interesting global read about the book Everyday Ubuntu, which now we learn because of Babs, I am because we are. And so this will be a global read not to miss on Wednesday, April 3rd at 9 a.m. Pacific time. And the next global read we'll have is Mouth of the Donkey by Rabbi Laura Duhan Kaplan. She is one of the three interfaith amigos that usually joins us for a good interfaith discussion with at least with the Abrahamic religions, understanding how things are going. So she wrote this book, and she will be presenting on our Global Read webinar series on Wednesday, April 17th at 9 a.m. Pacific time. And my last announcement, I am so sorry. There's so much going on today during the next couple of weeks. Our Charter Education Institute, the branch of the Charter that does courses, is bringing back, by popular demand, the Poetry for Inspiration and Well-Being course. This is being taught by John Smelster. The course begins on April 1st, and it goes for 4 weeks, and the cost is $40. There will be two 1 hour Zoom sessions throughout that time, and you'll be able to use the platforms to take the course and obviously have access to the instructor for the time being. So all that information will be put on the comments and the chats, but hopefully you see that there is plenty to do. There's plenty to hear and watch. And also, I wanted to close by reminding you that Golden Rule Day is happening on April 5th. Because of the golden rules that the Charter for Compassion existed with the discourse that Karen Armstrong gave on a TED Talk about the golden rule and how it's the most basic principle, yet the most powerful for our humanity to thrive and to live in peace. So we, because of Muse Haulu, who is in Ethiopia and works with URI, the United Religious Initiative, he proposed Golden Rule Day on April 5th, and Charter for Compassion is keep going with that tradition. And we're going to be hosting a lot of different panels and conversations, how the Golden Rule affects us in our voting, in our way of thinking, how do we protect the environment, how do we see immigration, how do we see racism through the lens of the Golden Rule. So topics that really can help us to share with others the importance of the golden rule and how if we put to practice the golden rule, no matter what religion you belong to, or if you don't belong to a religion, it's just a basic principle of humanity. How can our society be better if we were to follow that, let's say, when I'm voting or when I'm thinking about the environment or when I have to think about treating immigrants the way I want to be treated or treating indigenous people the way that I want to be treated, which is going to be powerful. And it should be something that we can all put to practice if we are not already practicing. So hopefully you get to join us. If not, we'll be seeing you next Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific time once again with another Charter Live show here with the Charter for